Commander Elias Thorne stared at the void beyond the viewport of his starship, the horizon's edge. The deep black of space stretched endlessly, dotted with distant suns that glimmered like tiny promises. He had seen countless stars in his lifetime, but none of them felt so silent, so waiting. Something tugged at the edge of his mind, a sensation he could not explain. He had been on hundreds of missions, but this one felt different. There was no warning, no chatter in the galactic standard frequency, just a lone distress signal that had appeared without origin. Elias was a man of reason, not superstition, but instinct whispered in the back of his mind. Go. He adjusted the ship's course toward the source of the signal. The coordinates led to an abandoned sector on the fringe of Andromeda space. Reports said no intelligent life existed here, only drifting debris from failed colonies and long-forgotten research outposts. Yet the signal was active and consistent. As the horizon's edge entered the sector, a massive object drifted into view. At first, Elias thought it was a derelict cargo ship, but as he approached, he realized it was something far older, far more advanced. Its surface shimmered with a metallic sheen that seemed alive, shifting in patterns like liquid. The craft was enormous, larger than anything humans had built, yet it floated with an eerie grace. "Commander, you're approaching the source," said Lieutenant Mara Keel, her voice calm but with a hint of tension. She was new to the fleet, a brilliant navigator with a keen eye for anomalies. "Scans show life signs, but they're faint. Alien. Unknown. Unknown can mean danger, Mara. Prepare shields and weapons."
"Keep scanners active. I don't want surprises."
The horizon's edge glided closer. Elias's hand rested on the console, a steadying anchor for the unease twisting in his chest. The signal grew stronger, pulsing in a rhythm almost like a heartbeat. Then, without warning, the ship's lights flickered and the communication system buzzed. A voice filled the cabin. It was deep, resonant, and completely alien. Yet, somehow, it spoke in perfect galactic standard. "Commander Elias Thorne," it said.
"Meet your son." The words froze him. His pulse thundered in his ears.
He turned to Mara, but her face mirrored his own disbelief. Did you hear that?" he asked, voice tight. "Yes," she replied softly, almost afraid to break the spell. "I heard it." "Show yourself," Elias demanded, gripping the rail. His years of experience taught him to face the unknown, but nothing in his career had prepared him for this. The voice repeated, calm but firm, "Meet your son. He is here." The ship's scanners began to pick up movement inside the derelict craft. Something massive stirred, shaping shadows along the interior corridors. Elias activated the docking clamps.
"I want a full analysis before we board."
"No unnecessary risks," he ordered, but the ship's AI hesitated. The derelict's architecture was unlike anything in the human database. It pulsed with energy, as if alive. Even the AI seemed cautious, its voice unusually hesitant. "Commander, the life forms inside, they are not human. Their biosignatures are unique. Proceed with caution." Elias drew a slow breath and suited up. Mara joined him, her hands steady despite her racing heart. Together they entered the airlock, feeling the familiar hiss of decompression and the sharp scent of recycled air. Beyond the airlock, the derelict stretched into darkness. The corridors were smooth, metallic, and impossibly large. Walls seemed to shift slightly, reflecting light like liquid silver. Then he saw her, or rather, him. No, something in between. A warrior, tall and clad in an alien bioarmor that shimmered with faint energy pulses. The figure's face was partially obscured, but the presence was commanding, unshakable. The warrior raised a hand in a gesture of peace, and Elias felt a strange calm in spite of his fear. "Commander," the warrior said again with the same steady voice, "meet your son." Elias's eyes followed the motion and saw a small figure emerging from the shadows. A child, perhaps 6 or 7, walked toward him with careful steps. His hair was dark like Elias's own, And his eyes were impossibly familiar. For a moment, Elias felt as if the universe had folded in on itself. This child, this tiny human boy, bore his face, his expression, and even the faint furrow of thought he recognized in himself. He took a step forward, heart pounding. This is impossible, he whispered. The warrior inclined their head. It is not natural, yet it is real. He is yours. Elias's mind raced. He thought of every mission, every lost partner, every choice that had shaped his life. He thought of Ava, his former partner who had vanished years ago during a deep space mission. Questions surged faster than he could answer them. How? When? Why? The warrior said nothing more, only gestured for Elias to hold out his hands. The child hesitated for a moment, then stepped forward. His small hands reached out to Elias, and when their fingers met, an electric warmth spread through him. It was as if the boy carried not just life, but memory. Memories that felt his own. Elias's knees weakened slightly, and he had to hold on to the wall to steady himself. Commander Elias Thorne, the warrior said again, time is short. Others are coming. You must leave this place with him. Elias's mind fought against the rush of disbelief. Others? What others? The Valar, the warrior replied. They will not allow him to live. They underestimated you. Elias's fingers tightened around the child. I don't understand. Why? Why me? The warrior's gaze softened, almost human in its intensity, because humanity possesses what they cannot understand: resilience, courage, and love. He carries both your blood and their experiment. He is the future. Elias glanced at Mara. Her expression was a mixture of fear and awe. Commander, we have to move. The life signs outside are spiking. We don't have time to argue, he nodded, finally accepting the impossible truth. The boy clung to him instinctively, and Elias felt an unfamiliar surge of protectiveness. He was no longer just a commander. He was a father confronting the unimaginable. The corridor ahead shook violently. Alien machinery, dormant for eons, roared to life. Red lights flashed, casting jagged shadows across the walls. Elias could hear distant footsteps, powerful and rhythmic, echoing through the vast metallic corridors. They are coming, the warrior warned. Go now. Elias grabbed the boy and bolted. Mara followed, firing at alien drones that attempted to block their path. The child's small hands glowed faintly, a shimmer of energy that pulsed from him when danger approached. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but it saved them several times from the oncoming threats. As they ran, Elias tried to gather his thoughts. He had trained for emergencies, for crises, for war, but never for this. He was a soldier, a tactician, a protector of humanity. Yet he felt utterly unprepared for this personal revelation. And yet, in the depths of fear and uncertainty, he felt something else. Hope. A hope he hadn't dared feel in years. Finally, they reached a chamber that led to the derelict's exit pods. The warrior, moving slower now, stood firm as Elias opened the hatch. Go. Take him to the ship. You will have answers there. Protect him as only a human can. Elias hesitated. And you? The warrior's voice was steady, even calm. I will slow them. You must not fail. With no time to argue, Elias lifted the child into the pod. Mara sealed the hatch, and the pod detached, hurtling back toward the horizon's edge. The warrior remained behind, standing tall against forces Elias could only imagine. Inside the pod, the boy finally spoke, his voice small but clear. I've been waiting for you. Elias's heart ached. Waiting. For me? How? The child's eyes reflected a wisdom beyond his years. I know you. You are my father. I am who I am because of you. Elias's hands trembled. He had faced countless alien threats, navigated deadly space storms, and survived near impossible missions. Yet this revelation, shook him more than any battle ever could. Still, he felt a surge of determination unlike anything before. If humanity could survive against the impossible, so could he. And now, more than ever, he had something to fight for. The pod docked with the horizon's edge, and Elias stepped inside, holding the boy close. Mara approached, scanning the derelict's signals. Commander, you need to see this. Whoever left this message, whoever made this child, they've underestimated humans.
Big mistake. Elias nodded.
His resolve hardened. Humanity had faced the unknown before. They had adapted, survived, and conquered against impossible odds. Now, with his son in his arms, he felt the weight of responsibility, but also the undeniable strength of human spirit. He would protect this child. He would uncover the truth. And whatever forces lay ahead, they would learn that humans were not just survivors. They were unstoppable. As the horizon's edge jumped into faster-than-light travel, leaving the derelict and the alien warrior behind, Elias looked down at the boy.
We're going home,
he whispered. The boy smiled faintly.
I've always known where home was, with you.
In that moment, among the stars and the infinite void, Elias realized that the true journey was only beginning.
Humanity had given him the courage to face the unknown, and now, with the next generation in his arms, he would show the galaxy exactly what humans could do. The horizon's edge cruised through the silent expanse of space, leaving the derelict behind. The child, small and quiet, remained in Elias's arms, his eyes scanning the ship with a curious calm. Elias could feel the faint warmth of the boy's hands, like a living connection he could not yet understand. Mara sat across from them, monitoring the ship's instruments with a tension that mirrored her unease. The air inside the cabin was thick with questions, but the silence of space outside amplified their uncertainty. Elias broke the quiet first. We need answers. Who is he? Why does he know me? His voice was low, steady, but the confusion in his eyes betrayed him. The boy looked up, calm and measured. I am what they made me to be, he said simply. I am your son. But not only yours. I am part of them too.
Part of who? Aaliyah asked, gripping the edge of his chair. The Valar, the child replied, his tone almost like a teacher explaining something simple to a student.
They are not like humans. They do not feel.
They do not change. They wanted what you have inside you, your courage, your will, your spirit.
They tried to make me stronger than you, but they could not understand what makes humans human. Elias's chest tightened.
He had heard of the Valar in intelligence briefings, an alien race of scientists and warriors, more machine than flesh, who prided themselves on perfection and control. They were known for observing and experimenting, but never for empathy or creativity. Humans had always underestimated the Valar, and the Valar had always assumed humans were predictable. And somehow, the boy continued, they made me to be a bridge. But I was not theirs to command. Mara leaned forward, eyes wide.
Wait, are you saying this boy is some kind of hybrid? Yes, Elias said, the realization finally settling over him. A human-alien hybrid. He looked down at the boy, who met his gaze without fear.
But how? How is this possible? The child's lips curved faintly. You were not there, but your partner was. The Valar took her, experimented with her, and created me. They never expected you to survive. They underestimated human determination.
Elias froze. The words hit him like a strike to the chest.
He remembered Ava, his partner, lost years ago during a deep space mission. He had grieved her disappearance, thinking she had been consumed by space or time itself. And now, his child existed, proof that Ava had survived long enough to endure the impossible. His fists clenched and his jaw tightened as the weight of the revelation pressed down on him. He looked at Mara. We need to return to human space. Now, we cannot let them reach us. Mara nodded. Agreed, but their signal traces are strong. If they've noticed the child's presence, they could track us across light years. Elias's mind raced. He had faced alien threats before, marauders, rogue AI, predatory species, but never had he faced enemies so precise and relentless, capable of observing, calculating, and striking with perfect efficiency. Yet in the presence of his son, something deeper within him stirred. Humans had survived worse. They had adapted to impossible odds. They had endured where others failed. And now, more than ever, he had a reason to fight. The ship's sensors suddenly beeped frantically. "Commander!" Multiple signatures detected. "Incoming fast-moving objects!" Mara shouted. Elias sprang to his feet, moving to the helm. "Red alert! Shields up! Weapons ready! Take evasive maneuvers." The horizon's edge shook as alien fighters emerged from the darkness, sleek, angular, and faster than anything human technology had produced. They advanced with lethal precision. "They're Valar," Mara said, eyes wide.
They must have tracked the derelict. They know the child is on board.
Elias gritted his teeth. "Then we show them why humans are unpredictable." He maneuvered the ship through an asteroid field, weaving between massive rocks with a precision born from years of piloting. The alien ships followed, adapting quickly, but Elias anticipated their moves, using the chaotic environment to his advantage. The child, perched on the navigator's seat, extended a small hand instinctively. A faint pulse of energy radiated outward, subtly shifting the trajectories of the alien fighters. Elias noticed it just in time to dodge a barrage of energy blasts. What
are you?
He shouted. The boy's eyes focused.
"Protecting us," he said. "I do what I must." Elias's jaw dropped.
Not only was the child biologically human, but he seemed to possess abilities that went beyond normal human capability. And yet, even as fear surged in him, he felt something familiar. Pride. Humanity had endured the impossible before, and now, in this child, their spirit lived on, stronger than anyone could predict. They escaped the asteroid field, but the alien fighters were relentless.
"They'll keep coming," Mara said grimly. "We can't outrun them forever."
Elias's mind raced. Then, a plan formed. We don't need to outrun them. We need to outthink them. He activated a series of ship modifications barely tested to emit decoy energy signatures and create false projections of the horizon's edge. The Valar, precise and calculating, hesitated. Their systems struggled to differentiate between reality and illusion. The ship shook as one fighter crashed into a holographic projection and another miscalculated its path through a nearby asteroid. Elias pressed forward, maneuvering the real ship through gaps the Valar could not anticipate. Mara exhaled sharply.
"They've never seen tactics like this before. You're
human." Elias glanced at his son, who looked out the viewport, calm and observant. "They'll learn soon enough," Elias said softly. "But humans always adapt. We always survive." As the chase continued, the boy began to speak again, his voice soft but steady. "Father, they think they can control me. They cannot."
"I carry both our strengths. I can learn, I can change, I can fight."
Elias felt a surge of emotion he could not name. Fear, awe, pride, and hope, all at once. He realized then that this child was more than a hybrid. He was a testament to what humanity represented. courage, creativity, and unbreakable will. Hours passed as they maneuvered through the dangerous sector. Communication with human command remained difficult. The Valar's interference scrambled transmissions. Still, Elias refused to give up. He knew that wherever the nearest human outpost lay, they could find refuge, regroup, and plan. Finally, distant lights appeared on the horizon, the edge of human-controlled space. Relief washed over him, but it was tempered with caution. The Valar would not give up so easily.
"Commander," Mara said, pointing at the scanners. "They're regrouping. If they catch us near human territory, there'll be no time to defend ourselves. We need a strategy, not just speed."
Elias's eyes narrowed. He considered the resources at his disposal. A faster-than-light ship, human ingenuity, and a child who was not only human, but something extraordinary. "We'll fight smarter, not harder," he said. "We'll use our minds, our unpredictability, and the one thing they cannot calculate, human will." The boy looked up at him.
"I am ready," he said simply. "I will follow you, Father."
Elias swallowed hard. The words settled into his heart. He was no longer alone. He had a mission not only for survival, but for legacy. To protect this child, to honor the humanity that had created him, and to show the galaxy that humans, no matter the odds, could not be broken. As the horizon's edge prepared to jump into hyperspace, the boy extended his hand again, this time with a pulse of energy that activated the ship's systems in perfect harmony. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but Elias realized that this child was not a passive creation. He was a partner, a new kind of human weapon, one that represented the best qualities of both species, yet guided by human morality and courage. Elias gripped the console tightly.
"Let them come," he whispered. "Let them see what humans can do when they refuse to yield."
Mara glanced at him, admiration shining through her tension. "They've never seen humans like this. They'll regret underestimating us." The child leaned against Elias, whispering softly, "I will not fail you, Father. We will survive. Together."
Elias felt something stir deep inside him, a flame of hope and determination that had never been stronger.
Humanity had faced the impossible before. They had endured, adapted, and thrived. And now, in this small, extraordinary child, the future of humanity burned brighter than any star in the galaxy. As they crossed the threshold into human space, the pursuit faded behind them. The silence of the cosmos returned. But this time it felt different. Not empty, but expectant. The universe was vast, full of unknown threats and challenges. But Elias knew one truth above all. Humans, when united with purpose, ingenuity, and courage, could face anything. And with his son at his side, Elias Thorne was ready to prove it. The horizon's edge drifted silently through human-controlled space, but the calm was temporary. Elias stood at the helm, hands gripping the console, eyes scanning the darkness beyond the ship's shields. He had expected a brief respite after escaping the derelict in the first wave of Valar attackers, but intelligence reports warned him this peace would not last. The Valar did not forgive mistakes. They adapted quickly, and humans were unpredictable. A flaw in their calculations they would not overlook. The boy sat quietly in the navigator's chair, gazing at the stars with wide, curious eyes. Elias studied him carefully. Each movement, each word, seemed measured beyond his years. The child was learning, observing, and responding in ways that reminded Elias of the resilience humans were known for. He was a human's child, but more. Perhaps that was why the Valar feared him. Mara approached the helm, her expression tense. "Commander, sensors are picking up anomalous energy readings. I think they're tracking us, but not like last time. It's more precise." Elias frowned.
"More precise? Then they've adapted to our evasive maneuvers."
They're learning faster than we thought. Prepare defensive protocols.
"And keep the boy safe?" The child tilted his head. eyes narrowing as he studied the displays. "Father," he said softly, "I can feel them. They are near. I can help."
Elias's heart skipped. He had felt the boy's energy pulse before, but now it was stronger, sharper.
He realized the child was no longer just a passenger. He was part of the strategy.
Show me what you can do, Elias said.
The boy reached out, and a faint wave of light spread from his hands, brushing against the ship's controls. The displays flickered, and then realigned. Energy readings shifted subtly, creating decoy signals that could confuse the Valar sensors. Elias watched in awe.
"You're not just helping, you're altering reality around us." "I can't do it all at once," the boy said. "I have to concentrate." Before Elias could respond, the alarms blared.
Valar ships emerged from hyperspace, forming a tight formation ahead. Sleek, metallic, and deadly, they moved with precision, their weapons charged. They had followed the child's unique energy signature across space, and now they intended to reclaim him.
"Red alert!" Elias shouted. "Shields full, weapons ready."
"We fight, not run." The child's small hands glowed faintly. A pulse of energy shot outward, distorting the incoming blasts. Elias maneuvered the horizon's edge into a defensive spin, dodging the Valar ships while Mara fired energy cannons. Each time a ship aimed directly at them, the child's pulse shifted the trajectory, causing the Valar to miscalculate and collide with asteroids or each other. "Father," the boy said quietly, "they are strong, but they underestimate us." Elias felt a surge of pride. Humanity had always been underestimated. Every civilization they had encountered, every war they had fought, had reinforced the truth. Humans adapted, improvised, and survived. Now, the next generation, embodied in this boy, was proving that instinct and courage could shape the outcome of battles no one expected them to win. The fight escalated. The Valar adjusted their formations, targeting the horizon's edge with even greater precision. Elias realized they could not win by strength alone. Strategy would be the key. He scanned the nearby asteroid field, recalling the first escape maneuvers. "Mara, follow my lead. We'll split their forces." She nodded, understanding immediately. The horizon's edge weaved through the dense field, dodging jagged rocks while firing improvised decoys. The Valar pursued, their movements rigid but unyielding. Then the boy acted. A pulse of energy radiated from his body, momentarily bending the trajectory of the alien ships, scattering them like leaves in a storm. Elias felt a rush of exhilaration. The child's abilities were growing stronger with every encounter.
"He's learning faster than I expected," Mara said. "And
helping us survive." "Yes," Elias said, eyes narrowed on the horizon. "That's what humans do. We fight, we adapt, we survive. And we protect what matters." He glanced down at the boy, and right now, that's you. The child smiled faintly, a mixture of determination and curiosity. "I understand now. I can help. I can fight. Not like them, Father. Different." Elias knew what he meant. Humans did not rely solely on technology or strength. They relied on ingenuity, instinct, and courage. That combination, unpredictable and unmeasurable, was exactly what the Valar could not anticipate. As they pressed forward, the Valar ships split into two groups. One group continued to pursue directly, while the other attempted a flanking maneuver. Elias recognized the risk immediately. If the flanking group reached the human outpost, it could lead to disaster. "Mara, we split. You take the child and the decoys. I'll draw the flanking group away."
"We'll rendezvous at the outpost."
"No," Mara protested.
"We can't. We have to," Elias interrupted firmly. "Trust me."
"Humans survive because we make hard choices and take risks. This is one of them."
The child looked up at Elias without fear. "I will stay with you, Father. I can help.
We can do this together. Elias swallowed, a mix of pride and worry in his chest. All right, he said softly. Together. The ship divided its maneuvers. Elias led the flanking Valar away from the main path, luring them into a dense asteroid field where their rigid formations became liabilities. Using the boy's guidance and instinctive energy pulses, Elias set traps, causing the Valar ships to collide with asteroids and each other. The boy's powers were subtle but critical, amplifying human ingenuity with something far beyond the Valar's understanding. Back with Mara and the main group, the child focused on maintaining the decoy signals, creating illusions that made it appear as though the horizon's edge was in multiple locations at once. The Valar struggled to track them, their patience and precision tested against the unpredictability of human strategy combined with the boy's abilities. Hours passed, and the battle raged across the asteroid field. Elias felt exhaustion creep in, but he refused to yield. Each movement, each decision, was a testament to human adaptability. And in the midst of chaos, the child remained calm, focused, and unafraid. Finally, the flanking group was neutralized, forced to retreat after sustaining heavy damage. Elias breathed a sigh of relief, but did not relax. The main group was still pursuing Mara and the child, and they had to reach the outpost safely.
Father, the boy said, his voice quiet but firm, they will not give up. They will keep coming.
But we are stronger together. I can do more. Elias felt a swell of emotion. Humans had always been defined by their courage in the face of impossible odds. Now, in his son, he saw that same courage amplified, combined with abilities he could not fully understand.
I know,
he said, and together we will survive. We always do.
Mara's voice came over the comms, tense but relieved. Commander, the outpost is in range. Shields are up. Weapons ready.
We can make it if we push now. Elias nodded. Then let's go. Humans do not run from danger. We face it. The horizon's edge surged forward, engines blazing as hyperspace coordinates locked. The boy's energy pulses synchronized with the ship, subtly enhancing speed and shield stability. Elias marveled at the synergy between human ingenuity and the child's unique abilities. For the first time, he realized that this was not just survival. This was evolution in action. As they jumped into hyperspace, Elias reflected on everything that had happened. The Valar had underestimated humans, assuming they were predictable, controllable, and limited. Yet, time and again, humans had defied expectation. They had survived worse than this. They had adapted, innovated, and prevailed. And now, with his son at his side, the future of humanity shone brighter than any star. The jump completed, and human space stretched before them like a welcoming horizon. The pursuit was temporarily broken, but Elias knew the Valar would not give up. They had underestimated the human spirit, a mistake that would cost them dearly. The boy leaned against Elias, exhaustion in his small frame, but eyes still alert. Father, I am ready for what comes next. Elias smiled faintly, pride swelling in his chest. So am I. Because humans do not give up. We do not surrender. And we protect what matters, no matter the odds.
Mara approached, relief and awe in her eyes. Commander?
They've never seen humans fight like this. They don't understand our strength, our will.
We've changed the game.
Elias nodded.
Yes, we have.
And now it's time to prepare. The Valar will be back, but they will learn a lesson. They will never forget. Humans are unpredictable. Humans are resilient. And humans will always survive. The child looked up, small hands resting on Elias's arm. Then we will survive together, Father, and I will help every step of the way. Elias's heart surged. He had faced the impossible, lost companions, and endured unthinkable challenges. Yet here, in the midst of danger and uncertainty, He found something stronger than fear or anger. He found hope, courage, and the unmistakable truth of humanity's enduring spirit. And as the stars stretched endlessly outside the viewport, Elias Thorne knew this was only the beginning. Humanity would face the Valar again, and next time, they would not merely survive, they would show the galaxy the full measure of human strength, ingenuity, and determination. The human outpost hovered at the edge of a dark nebula, its lights glowing faintly against the black void. Elias guided the horizon's edge into the docking bay, the boy still clinging to him, alert and watchful. Mara followed closely behind, keeping an eye on the scanners. Though they were within human territory, Elias knew better than to feel safe. The Valar were relentless, and now, more than ever, they would strike with everything they had. "Commander," Mara said, scanning the incoming signals. "They're approaching, faster than expected. I estimate less than 30 minutes before they arrive in full force." Elias's jaw tightened. He had trained for countless battles. But this was different. This was personal. This was his son, the future of a new kind of humanity, and the Valar intended to take that away. He gritted his teeth. Then we don't wait for them. We prepare, we plan, and we show them why humans never surrender. The boy looked up at him, small face, serious but unafraid.
Father, I can help. I can do more than before.
"I can protect everyone if you guide me." Elias's chest swelled with pride. "Then we do this together."
Humans fight with their minds, their courage, and their heart. Let's show them what that means. Within the outpost, human scientists and engineers scrambled to reinforce defenses. Shield generators were calibrated, weapon systems armed, and communication networks encrypted. Every person there worked with precision and purpose, inspired by Elias's determination. For the first time in years, Elias felt the familiar surge of human resilience, the unshakable drive to survive, adapt, and fight. Outside, the nebula glowed faintly, hiding the approach of the Valar fleet. Sleek, black ships, their surfaces smooth and reflective, moved with frightening efficiency. They were not just warriors. They were strategists, engineers, and hunters. Yet Elias knew one truth: humans were not predictable. That unpredictability had saved them before, and it would do so again. The first wave struck as the Valar entered the outpost's sensor range. Energy beams cut through space, striking the shields. Alarms blared, and lights flickered as the outpost shook under the force of the attack. Elias took the helm, directing human ships and defenses with precision. "We hold the line," he shouted. "Do not let them break us." The boy, standing beside Mara at the navigation console, extended his small hands. A faint pulse of light radiated outward, syncing with the outpost systems. Energy shields shimmered stronger, beams of incoming fire bending subtly around the perimeter. Elias watched in awe. The boy's powers had grown far beyond the subtle manipulations that had saved them in the asteroid field. He could now influence energy directly, bending it to shield, defend, and confuse the enemy. "Father," the boy said quietly, "they will try to overwhelm us with numbers."
"I can slow them, but you must lead the humans." Elias nodded.
"Then let's make sure they understand who they are dealing with." He activated the outpost's defensive grid, sending human-controlled fighter drones into precise formations, luring the Valar into traps. They fired not just with brute force but with cunning, using energy pulses, asteroid debris, and electronic interference. Each move was calculated, inspired by the child's unique abilities and human ingenuity combined. The Valar, sophisticated and precise, began to adapt. Their ships moved in coordinated patterns, striking faster and with more force. One managed to penetrate the outpost's outer defenses, its weapons cutting a path of destruction. Human ships responded with improvisation, firing energy nets to trap it. Elias at the helm anticipated the ship's movements, guiding the drones with an instinctive understanding of human unpredictability.
The child's energy pulses intensified. Beams of light radiated from him, intercepting enemy fire, redirecting it, even causing minor disruptions in the Valar's systems. The alien warriors paused, confused by the sudden interference. Their calculations, precise and unerring, could not predict a force guided by human intuition and creativity. Elias seized the opportunity. "Target the leadership!" he shouted. "All drones, concentrate fire on the command vessel." The fleet moved as one, human ingenuity and courage amplified by the boy's abilities. Energy beams struck the Valar leader's hull, causing shields to flicker and systems to overload. Elias guided the outpost's turrets, firing with precision to prevent repair attempts. Mara monitored the sensors, shouting updates. "Commander, their shields are down! We can finish this!" The boy's pulse intensified further, synchronizing with the outpost's energy grid. Light waves bent and shimmered, creating illusions that multiplied the human ships on enemy sensors. The Valar fired at phantoms, wasting precious time and energy. Elias pressed forward, leading the coordinated attack. In the chaos, Elias felt a surge of pride. Humanity's strength was not in superior technology alone. It was in courage, adaptability, and the unwillingness to give up. The Valar may have been stronger, faster, and more precise, but they lacked the human spark, the creativity and unpredictability that had always allowed humans to survive and thrive. Finally, the Valar leader faltered. Elias seized the moment, sending a concentrated blast of energy from the outpost's main cannon, amplified by the child's pulse. The ship shuddered, shields collapsing under the force. Enemy vessels began to retreat, confused and damaged. The battle was turning. Elias exhaled exhaustion and relief washing over him.
"It's working," he said softly.
"We're winning." The boy looked up, face flushed with concentration. "They will return," he said, voice steady. "But we can prepare. I can help make humans stronger." Elias smiled faintly, placing a hand on the boy's shoulder. "You already have. And together we will ensure humanity survives. Not just today, but every day after." Mara approached, eyes wide with awe. "Commander, the humans at this outpost, they've never seen leadership like this. They're inspired. They believe in us." Elias nodded. "They always will. Humans survive because we never give up. We fight for each other."
And we fight for what matters. As the Valar fleet retreated beyond the nebula, Elias watched them go.
He knew this was only a temporary victory. The enemy would return, stronger and more determined. But he also knew one unshakable truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were fighters, thinkers, and creators. They were unpredictable, unbreakable, and unstoppable. The child, small but radiant with growing power, looked up at him. "Father," he said, "I want to learn more. I want to help humans even more."
"I want to protect them." Elias felt pride swell in his chest. "Then you will."
You're more than just my son. You are the next step in humanity's evolution. The proof that our courage, intelligence, and heart cannot be matched.
The outpost began repairs, and humans moved with renewed purpose, inspired by the courage of Elias and the boy. Engineers strengthened shields, pilots recalibrated fighter drones, and soldiers trained for the battles yet to come. Humanity had survived the impossible again, but now, with the child's unique abilities and Elias's leadership, they were stronger than ever. The boy looked at Elias, determination clear in his eyes.
"Baba, I will protect them. I will make sure humans never lose."
Elias smiled, placing a hand on his son's small shoulder.
And you will. But remember, it is not just power that protects humans.
It is courage, ingenuity, and the will to never give up. That is why humans endure. Outside, the stars shimmered, silent witnesses to the battle that had just ended and the wars yet to come. The Valar had underestimated the strength of the human spirit, the spark that allowed a small race to survive in a vast, dangerous galaxy. Now that spark had grown, amplified by a new generation, one that combined human creativity with extraordinary abilities. Elias looked at the boy, small but resolute. "The galaxy will see what humans can do," he said quietly. "And together we will show them that no matter how powerful the enemy, humanity will not yield. We will fight. We will survive. And we will thrive." The boy's hand glowed faintly as he nodded. "Together, Father, we will protect humanity, and I will help lead the way." Elias's heart swelled with hope. He had faced impossible odds before, but this was different. This was personal. This was the future of humanity, held in the hands of a child who was both human and something more. And as long as he drew breath, Elias Thorne would ensure that the Valar, or any force in the galaxy, would never forget the strength of the human spirit. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. Yet Elias knew one truth that no alien calculations could account for. Humans never give up. Humans adapt. Humans fight. And humans, when united with courage, intelligence, and heart, were a force the universe could not contain. As the outpost hummed with activity, Elias turned to the boy. "Rest now. You've done enough for today. Tomorrow we prepare. And when the Valar return, they will meet the full measure of human will." The boy smiled faintly, leaning against him. "I am ready, Father. Always ready." Elias looked out at the stars beyond the nebula, determination hardening in his chest. Humanity had survived again, stronger, wiser, and more united than ever. And with his son by his side, the future was no longer uncertain. It was bright, bold, and unstoppable. The human outpost had recovered from the last battle, but the tension in the air was thick. Engineers repaired damage to the shields, weapons were recalibrated, and pilots trained under Elias's watchful eye. Yet the commander knew this was only the calm before the storm. The Valar would return, stronger, smarter, more determined. Elias stood on the observation deck, the boy by his side, gazing at the stars beyond the nebula. For a moment, the galaxy seemed endless and serene. The child's small hand rested against his, a connection more powerful than any shield or weapon. "Father," the boy said softly, "I can feel them preparing."
"They won't give up." Elias nodded, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We don't give up either."
Humanity survives because we refuse to surrender. That is why we endure. That is why we will win. The boy smiled faintly, eyes bright with determination. "Then we show them. Together." Over the next hours, the outpost hummed with preparation. Human ingenuity and determination combined with the child's abilities to create defenses the Valar could not predict. Energy fields shifted dynamically, decoys and illusions masked critical systems, and fighter drones moved with unpredictable patterns. Every human there worked with a single purpose: survival and the protection of the child who represented hope for the next generation.
Elias briefed the defenders.
"This is not just a battle, it's a demonstration."
A message to the Valar, and anyone who thinks humans can be controlled. We fight not with numbers alone, but with courage, intelligence, and the unyielding spirit that defines us. Today, humanity shows what we are capable of.
The boy stepped forward. "And I will fight with you, Father."
"I will use my abilities to protect everyone." His pulse shimmered faintly, syncing with the outpost's energy grid, enhancing shields and weapons subtly but effectively.
As predicted, the Valar returned. Their fleet emerged from hyperspace, black ships moving with deadly precision. But this time, Elias was ready. Human ships swarmed strategically, drawing the Valar into traps, while decoy signals and illusions confused the alien sensors. Energy beams struck shields, but the boy's pulse redirected them, bending attacks harmlessly into space. "Focus fire on their command vessel," Elias shouted. "We strike as one." The Valar hesitated. They had expected humans to flee, to surrender under pressure. They had not anticipated coordinated strategy, improvisation, and the unpredictable power of a human-alien hybrid. Elias guided the human fleet, weaving between enemy strikes, using asteroid fields and nebula clouds for cover. Fighter drones struck from unexpected angles, and the child amplified the energy shields while subtly manipulating the enemy's targeting systems. Every move was calculated yet fluid, demonstrating the unpredictable creativity humans were famous for. One by one, the Valar ships faltered. Their precision could not match human unpredictability. Pilots adapted on the fly, soldiers repaired systems under fire, and engineers rerouted power to maintain defenses. Humanity was not just surviving, they were thriving, even against an enemy far stronger than themselves. The boy extended his hands, a brilliant pulse radiating outward. Energy beams collided with enemy weapons, sending shockwaves that disabled multiple Valar ships. Elias realized the boy's abilities had evolved, no longer just defensive. They could influence attacks, create openings, and amplify human tactics. "Now, father!" Mara shouted, pointing to the Valar command ship, isolated and vulnerable.
Elias gritted his teeth. "All firepower on their leader." "Move together!" The outpost's cannons, human ships, and the boy's energy pulses aligned in perfect coordination. The Valar command vessel shuddered under the concentrated assault, shields failing, engines faltering. A final pulse from the boy struck the hull, causing critical systems to overload. The ship erupted in a controlled explosion, sending debris spinning harmlessly into space. The remaining Valar ships, leaderless and disoriented, retreated, their coordinated formations broken. Humanity had won. Silence fell over the outpost. The hum of repaired systems replaced the chaos of battle. Engineers and pilots cheered quietly, exhausted but victorious. Elias lowered himself into a chair, the boy climbing into his lap. "We did it," he whispered. "We survived. Humanity survived." The boy's hands glowed faintly as he rested against him. "We did it together, father." "And I've learned."
Humans are stronger than anyone can imagine, not because of weapons or ships, but because of what we carry inside. Elias smiled, brushing a hand through the child's hair. "Exactly. Courage, ingenuity, and the will to never give up. That is what makes humans unbeatable. And now, you carry that too." The scientists began examining the boy, intrigued by his abilities and unique physiology. But Elias insisted on overseeing everything, determined to protect his son.
"He's human," he told them firmly, "and humans protect their own."
We won't let anyone take that away from him, or from humanity. As the outpost recovered, Elias convened a council of leaders. He emphasized the lessons learned. Humans thrived under pressure, adapted to impossible circumstances, and leveraged courage and ingenuity to overcome superior technology. The child's abilities were remarkable, but it was humanity's spirit that truly ensured survival.
"This is our message to the galaxy," Elias said, voice steady. "Humans do not surrender."
We fight for each other, for our families, and for what we believe in. Today, we proved it. Tomorrow, we will continue to prove it. And no one, no species, no empire can underestimate us again. The boy listened intently, absorbing every word. "Then we continue," he said softly. "We protect humans. We ensure the future." Elias nodded.
"Yes, that's our duty."
But also, remember this. Strength alone does not protect humanity. Courage, intelligence, creativity, and heart, these are what make us human. That is the legacy we leave. That is the future you will help shape. The days that followed were filled with preparation. The Valar were regrouping, but humanity was no longer the prey. Ships were upgraded, defenses strengthened, and the child trained under Elias's guidance, learning to control and refine his abilities. Mara and the crew worked tirelessly, inspired by the bond between father and son and the unbreakable human spirit. Elias often stood on the observation deck with the boy, gazing at the stars. "Do you see that?" he asked one evening, pointing to a cluster of distant suns. "Each of those stars is a world filled with challenges, dangers, and possibilities. Humans have always explored, always endured, always thrived. And now, with you, the future is brighter than ever." The boy looked up, eyes shining.
"I understand, Father. I am human, and I will do everything to protect humanity."
I will not fail.
Elias smiled, feeling a deep warmth.
You will never be alone.
Humanity will always be with you.
And together, we will show the galaxy exactly what humans can do.
Humanity rebuilt, strengthened by the lessons of battle and inspired by the courage of a single human and his extraordinary son.
The Valar did not return immediately, but the galaxy now knew. Humans were unpredictable, resilient, and unstoppable.
They were not defined by technology alone, but by the spark of ingenuity, the heart of courage, and the will to survive. Elias trained his son in strategy, leadership, and the philosophy of humanity's resilience. Each lesson was a testament to the strength of human spirit. The boy grew confident, capable, and wise beyond his years. And as he did, Elias realized something profound. This child was not just a survivor of impossible odds. He was the embodiment of human potential, a symbol of hope, courage, and evolution. One quiet night, Elias and the boy stood on the observation deck, watching distant stars. "Father," the boy said, voice soft but certain, "we have survived, but there will be more challenges. I am ready to face them. With humanity by our side, nothing can stop us." Elias placed a hand on his son's shoulder, feeling the steady warmth of hope.
That is exactly right. Humans have survived wars, disasters, and the unknown.
We adapt, we endure, and we rise. And now, you will continue that legacy. Together we will ensure humanity thrives across the galaxy. The boy nodded, determination clear in his eyes. "Then we continue, Father. For humanity, for the future, for everyone." Elias smiled, pride swelling in his chest.
Yes?
"Together, we will write a new chapter for humans. A chapter of courage, ingenuity, and unyielding spirit. A chapter the galaxy will never forget." And as the stars shimmered beyond the observation deck, Elias Thorne felt a deep certainty. Humanity had survived impossible odds. And now, with the next generation, brave, strong, and extraordinary, their future was limitless. No matter the challenges, no matter the enemies, humans would endure, humans would adapt, humans would triumph, and humanity would never ever be underestimated again.